Did Otto von Bismarck, the so-called unicorn of politics, really control the German Empire? More importantly, how did he force those old, stubborn German states that had fought each other for centuries to stay together under one roof? Let's be honest, unifying Germany wasn't the hardest part. Keeping it unified was a real challenge. In 1871, the German Empire was born, but beneath the patriotic flags and grand celebrations, not much had really changed. Bavaria still didn't trust Prussia. The southern states were terrified of being dominated by the north. The elites in the north just wanted more power, so the real question was never, can Germany be unified? It was, can Germans stop fighting each other once they are unified? Bismarck understood something very dangerous about his new creation. Germany wasn't a single nation. It was more like a cage full of proud, aggressive animals, and if the cage door opened even a tiny bit, they would tear each other apart. So how did Bismarck keep this cage locked? It wasn't with inspiring speeches or with appeals to love and unity. And it definitely wasn't with democracy. He ruled with a cold, calculated balance of fear and strategy. His first big problem was loyalty. Some Germans were loyal to the new government in Berlin, but many others were loyal to the Catholic Church, and a growing number were listening to new, radical ideas spreading through the factories. Bismarck asked himself a brutally simple question: who are Germans more loyal to the empire or something else? The Catholic Church became his first target. Millions of Germans looked to the Pope in Rome for authority, and Bismarck couldn't stand divided loyalty. So he launched the Culture Camp, a political war against the Church's influence. He took control of schools and put priests under surveillance. The message was crystal clear: the empire comes first always. But here's the irony. Instead of crushing the Church, Bismarck's attacks actually united Catholics against him. It was a rare mistake, and even the Iron Chancellor had to learn a tough lesson. You can't fight every enemy at once. So he pivoted to another threat, one that scared him far more: socialism. Across Germany, workers were organizing. Factories were expanding, and revolutionary ideas were spreading faster than any army. Bismarck genuinely feared that Germany could collapse from the inside out. His first move was to ban socialist parties, arrest their leaders, and shut down their meetings. And yet socialism only grew stronger in the shadows. This is where Bismarck did something completely unexpected, something almost genius, he thought. What if I just steal the socialists' best ideas before they can use them to start a revolution? And just like that, the German Empire created health insurance, accident insurance, and old age pensions. It became the very first modern welfare state in history. This wasn't because Bismarck was a caring leader, it was because he was a master strategist. He was sending a message to the workers: you don't need a revolution. The empire is already taking care of you. And you know what? It worked. Workers became dependent on the state for their security. The individual German states became more dependent on Berlin. And the empire, for a time, stayed stable. But this brings us to the final, most dangerous question: was Germany truly united? Or was it just being carefully managed? Because this entire fragile system depended on one man. When Bismarck was fired in 1890, that delicate balance he had created completely disappeared. The old rivalries between the German states hadn't vanished. They were just contained, and once that container cracked, German history would take a very, very different turn. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into history, make sure to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.